cinema?
No. Or probably the fairer answer would be that they are probably out there and we haven't found them yet. But I think it will emerge. So at the moment, film criticism in India is about writing a synopsis of the film, largely, and giving an opinion which is not necessarily always informed. So I think it will emerge. I really hope it does, and it's the kind of cinema that needs a certain kind of academic criticism, that needs a certain kind of academic deconstruction and dialogue, is also emerging from Bombay right now. So, and not to say that never existed, but existed in a way that was not highly accessible, existed in a way where the film would be there but would not run in theaters for 6 weeks across the country. And because that is emerging now, I'm sure that there is definitely an audience to consume good academic journalism also, good academic film journalism.
I think a lot of the good critics in that sense are pretty much bloggers, and they're not really major publications. Honestly, if I'm looking for critical feedback on my film, is normally before the film's released. I'm not even going to go out and wait for a critic to tell me what's right or what's wrong, or that's something you would do way before that. I think the state of film criticism is going through a huge state of flux right now. Everybody has their own personal critic that they would listen to, right? So of the 50 possible critics who are actually reviewing films, you will find over a period of time that, okay, I'm going to listen to this guy, I'm going to listen to that guy. Or...
Yeah, my life's not been the same since Philip French retired from The Observer in London.
Exactly, so you always have that one favorite. I mean, remember when I was growing up, Rashid Irani used to be the go-to person for English film reviews. If he liked it, you would go and see it. If he didn't like it, you wouldn't go and see it. I mean, there was a trust in Rashid's...
I trust Rashid largely, but Rashid doesn't work on Indian cinema. Like, the last time I spoke to him, he's like, oh, I don't do Indian films.
No, but even then, he was the English guy. He was, Khalid Mohammed used to do the Hindi, and he used to do the English.
Yeah.
And you would trust Rashid blindly. You really would. I think you'd find it.
I'm sure he's at the Kerala Film Festival this week, and I hope he's blushing madly. But this idea of creating criticism, I want the audience to ask some questions now. I just want to mention, though, I've already had of the films that these two have made, I have had essays written on Udaan already by my undergraduate students. So let's hope one day they grow into more critical writing. But I think what we might do is, rather than just taking one question at a time, maybe take 3 or 4 at a time, and then we can have longer responses than just to and fro's, I think.
Hi. In Ship of Theseus and even The Lunchbox, like I'm talking about recent films, which are they were still, in a way, they can still be classified into the art house films. But when you look at films like, let's say, Devdi, or even Udaan, till an extent, like, they are exactly the same way, but they have that commercial aspect to it. Like, not commercial, but let's say the masses will appreciate it. But, for example, I am in college right now, and like my first semester just got over, and I really wanted to watch Ship of Theseus ever since I saw Right Here, Right Now. So I went for it. I dragged all my friends to the theaters because none of them wanted to come. They were like, "What is this?" Whatever. So then I dragged all of them to the theater, and then I loved it, and they practically beat me up why I was appreciating it so much. Like, why is this? I tried to explain to them that look at the subtext, look at this, look at that. They just got more and more pissed off at me. So the thing is, when can we incorporate that kind of, into those kind of brilliant films, an aspect in which even masses can appreciate it? Like, me or maybe most of the people sitting in this hall are very select audience maybe. So when can we let the masses let in on those really, really brilliant ideas of how you show in your film?
See, just to quickly respond to the last part of it, which is the easiest part to respond to in a short conversation. I made the film for you, and maybe you might want to, make films for your friends. But I made the film for for people I know really well, and I know myself really well, and I know some other people really well. And so I made the film thinking that I want to make a film that if I were to if I were to chance upon and go to the theater and watch, it should blow my mind away, it should enlighten me. That's the film I aspire to make. Whether I made it or not is another question, but I aspire to make that film. I do not believe, or nor do I subscribe to the idea that we should try and second guess the intelligence of any audiences. So that it would be rather arrogant of me to say that I am this and I want this to be shown in theaters. But you know what? The audiences are not smart enough, so let me dumb it down or let me make it. So I mean, that's a way of seeing, that's a way of thinking, and that's a legit way of thinking that some people use to model their work around. But that's not how I make films at this point, at least in life. Within the films that you mentioned, I mean. I don't know if Lunchbox and Thesis were as arts. I mean,
But dude, Lunchbox has actually made more money than Gori Tere Pyar Mein. Seriously. It's not an art film by any standards. It's a commercial success, serious commercial success. But it's like, look, at least the idea, word of mouth comes from, and the only way that our films, and I mean our films, I mean Anand, me, or even a Lunchbox, whatever, it's word of mouth that's helped the films get whatever box office it's got is because of word of mouth. Word of mouth means that if it's not a film that's starring a big star, you have to fight and kick and scream and pull your friends into theaters to make them watch the damn film and saying, this is what I'm talking about. And if they walk away from there saying, dude, thanks, good job, job well done, if they kick, whatever, again, it's what I was saying, it's about swallowing the pill little by little. People are going to open up more and more and more to this kind of cinema as we go along. But I don't think we need to dumb down our films or access what you're talking about, that when will a commercial audience, can we make these for a commercial audience? No, we can't make them for a commercial audience. I don't think we should make them for a commercial audience. They're accessible films. Lunchbox is accessible. Ship of Thesis is a very accessible film.
I would like to believe that it's accessible. I mean, 2 days ago, Midday ran a story of 10 super hits of the year, and Ship of Thesis was in it. So that means it's a commercial success again.
My question is for Mr. Motwane. Yeah. In Udaan, you did a fantastic job of making Jamshedpur a character, something that you used very strongly to, take the story forward. Whereas some other films, like one of which you named right now, the geography was a very important character, but it was looking absolutely ungrounded. So how do you feel while working on some things in your movie so hard, and where things matter, people don't work on it? And then, do you expect, you want more converts in order to make your movie sell more? You want to get the so-called commercial audience, start watching your movies? Or are you happy with the 10 million, as he said, those 10 million enjoying your movie and, okay, I'm happy with that? Or are you looking for new converts? And another question for Mr. Gandhi. Are you looking, what is your view on crowdsourcing? Because I seriously believe that if I could contribute something little into the next movie you are making, I wouldn't have to travel for 300 kilometers that I did for Ship of Theseus. So, are you looking
Thank you, that's very nice of you. I'm looking for help, everyone. If you have a rich uncle or a rich auntie or whoever is rich in your family, please give them my number. I'd love to sit them down and convince them that this is the way to go.
I would do that if I get a ticket of your next movie.
I think, look, everyone's looking for the largest possible audience to watch their film. I think we're all looking for that. I'd be lying if I say, no, I'm happy with a certain amount of people watching my film. No, I always want more people to watch my film. But I want them to watch it at my terms. I don't want to sort of pander to them and saying, the worst thing that a filmmaker can do is second guess what an audience thinks. You should not, never, ever do that, because that's just, then you're being dishonest to yourself and to your core audience any which way. You are your first audience. You have to make the film that you will go watch in the theater. And if you're going to be dishonest to yourself, then there's no point making that damn film. So, yes, convert people by making them come to watch your movies. Don't convert people by thinking what you think they're going to like and going on to making it. And your earlier thing about, are you asking me whether I work really hard on making Jamshedpur a character and other people don't and they get more success? So, I don't know. Is that what you're asking me?
Where it is required and you are putting such a lot of effort And still, those movies are getting much more, like your movies are a spark in the pan. Those are coming with much more force.
It's okay, yeah. It's I think I put in effort because I like to put in the effort, and I think it's for me, it's the nuances, and I love it when people catch on to it. I love it when you ask me that question about the effort you put into Jamshedpur. I mean, that's the whole idea of doing it, is that you can ask me that question in the first place. I think that satisfaction, that's a personal thing. I think there's nothing better than people walking up to you, shaking your hand and saying, you know what, I really loved your film, it changed my life. I think I personally make films for that. I'm not making film for anything other than that. That's the greatest pleasure that anyone gets.
About the crowdsourcing thing, just quickly, the rejoinder would be that we are very, very committed to community participation. As a group that is working right now, making films. So the open source experiment is the beginning of that commitment, and we really intend to put out as much as we can produce out for free. And when I say out for free, I don't mean out for free with ads. Without ads, ad-free, complete free for downloading, free for sharing, free for editing, kind of sharing is what we'd like to produce things for. And for that, we need money, we need community support, we need people to look into the future and say, okay, this is where we are going. Let's participate for the next 5-7 years till this itself becomes sustainable, self-sustainable. So yes, we are looking for people to come forward, and whatever you can contribute, please feel free. We should have a website up soon. Please contribute.
Hello, sir. My question is to you, Mr. Gandhi. I saw your short film right here, right now. It's a brilliant short film. I wanted to ask that is it the right time that short films can be directly pitched to the producers, and can they be considered as a direct route for making feature films? Like,
sorry, I didn't
yes, then
understand.
how?
What
The short film, can they be considered as a direct route to make feature films? Or like, we can pitch the short films to the producers and tell them that this is the story, and
Well, that has been the traditional route for many years now.
In the West, it has been, like in Hollywood and UK, directors have made short films before making the feature films. But in India, it has developed recently. Well,
with the new producers, with the new studios, like Anurag's studio, Vikram's studio, my studio, with the new studios, that definitely is a route, for sure. I mean, I can speak for them.
No, definitely. I would, if you're coming to me with a script, I'd say, okay, give me a script and what have you, and your short film, what have you done before?
Your office address is on the internet.
Yes.
I'll come.
Hi, Vikram sir, Anand here, this side. Still a big fan of Udaan, in my top list of 3,000 films that I own at home. Anand, I share my birthday with you, I'm very proud of that. Okay, my question is in two parts, and something that you mentioned earlier. First, Vikram sir, and what do you think about the film versus digital? Because Vikram, you always shoot like with Mahendra Shetty, and we have these stories about how he exposes stock, which I don't know much about. And Anand shot his first film purely on digital. So that is the first question. What do you both think about film versus digital? And the second is, again, which you had mentioned in the earlier question, is the internet. Now that we're going from the theaters, DVD, there's too much piracy. But what do you think about everybody starting to watch films on the laptop? Do you see your vision? Is that the way you want people to see films now?
I forgot the first question you asked me. Oh, film versus digital, yeah. The thing is, I think there's an inevitability to the fact that digital is eventually going to, because now that distribution is digital as well, it's a matter of also the audiences sort of reacting to and recognizing digital and not having to make that difference. It happened with still photography. There's a long time when digital cameras first came, everybody's like, oh, but it looks like, yeah, but now that question's not even asked. There will come a time when you won't ask the question anymore. I think film versus digital now, for me, has now become a choice. Really, it's a choice of, is it easier to shoot digital? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you're doing sometimes a production which is slightly larger, it's probably as effective to shoot on film than it is on digital in terms of cost. I personally like film because I think film adds, there's a texture to it which is lovely, but there's also a discipline that comes when you're shooting film, which sometimes doesn't come when you're shooting digital. You know that the stock is rolling. You know that money is getting wasted every sort of second that you're not doing something useful with it. But it's come to a point today when it's really a personal choice. Yes, film sometimes is painful because there's processing involved, there's telecines, there's scanning, everything is you have to add 2 days to everything that you want to do in terms of a time period. Digital is far more useful that way, but yes, digital needs a lot of a lot more work when you're lighting. It needs a lot more work when you're post-processing. Film needs far less work on that. It's a choice here. It's up to you.
For me, it's digital. I feel so fortunate that the co-evolution of everything that's around us, the cultural co-evolution and digital co-evolution, they co-evolve together. Because neither Pankaj, my cinematographer Pankaj Kumar, nor I would ever think of going back to film anymore. We just finished shooting a film. I mean, not finished. We have one more schedule to go. We made a film recently called Tumbad, which we shot on Red Epic, directed by Rahi Barve. And Red Epic shoots 5K HDR, has a great latitude, and outdoes 35mm film any day. So for me, that conversation is not even, it's not even a conversation anymore. I've really moved on to digital. I mean, I really am not able to foresee a single reason why I would ever want to shoot on film. So that's that answer. And the other thing.
Watching on small screen.
Oh right, yes. So there, I think that new narrative constructs, new narrative paradigms need to evolve, and they will evolve. We want to participate actively in that scheme of things, in that process. And for that, we are setting up a transmedia wing at Recyclewala Labs, where we are constantly trying to think of new stories, new narrations, new story structures, new ways of interacting and telling stories that need to evolve in this new paradigm. Because no, Shape of Theseus was not meant for watching online. I mean, it can be seen online. Any film can be seen online. I've seen more films after downloading them than in theaters in life, of course. But as a narrative, as a piece of cinema, it was meant to be seen on the big screen. But now I'm definitely interested in evolving new narrative models, new kinds of screenplays, new kinds of film techniques, and new ways of making films and motion picture that can be consumed, that is more conducive to an online consumption.
I think yes, the good thing is that we have choice. The bad thing is that we can choose to now watch films on laptops but it's bound to happen. Yeah, it's a question of when if you want to go and see a film in a movie theater with 200 more people, you will. But if you don't mind watching it on a laptop, then you will do that also. I don't think that you can set a hard and fast kind of thing that. If the question is, would I prefer my audience to watch a film in a movie theater? Of course I will. But do I mind them watching on a laptop? No, I don't. I just want to watch the film, whichever way they watch it. I don't care.